All right. Welcome back to Everyday Elevations, the podcast where we turn ordinary outcomes into extraordinary. So today I'm excited because this is just a fun little quick event that we did. It's called Potapalooza, and I have a very special guest named Bonita Joy Yoder here, who has this amazing ability to turn humor into tools to strengthen not just your mindset, but your business acumen. So with that, I'd love to just have you introduce yourself a little bit more, Bonita, and I'd love to just jump right into it.
Great, great. My stage name is Bonita Joy. My middle name is Joy, which is sort of an affirmation for my vision for the world is for people to experience everyday moments of joy, regardless of what's going on in their work and their relationships and, their day-to-day life. What about that? It's in serious times. Oh, Sammy, you should introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sammy.
Hi,
This is
Sammy.
Jason.
Yeah,
And there's other people listening. Eavesdropping? No, it's a podcast. They're actually supposed to be listening.
okay. But how can you have joy when it's a serious time? When there's a pandemic or divorce or something like that?
Good question. Start with the tough ones, huh, Sammy?
Yeah,
It's what you choose to focus on. And you could focus on what's going right in your life or what's going wrong.
and if you're left-handed, you focus on what's going left.
Something like that. But anyway, the thing is, I have a good sense of humor.
That's a matter of opinion.
Well, okay, I have a sense of humor.
Do you have one, Jason?
Oh, I sure do.
Where do you keep it?
Hidden far away. No, just kidding.
But sometimes life is just so ludicrous, it's funny. I mean, there's a saying in comedy, Jason, that truth is funnier than anything you can make up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, most of the jokes that hit tend to be the truthful ones.
Yeah. Or if you have a friend tell you a story, tell you what happened during their day, and while they're telling it, you both start laughing because it was so crazy, or somebody's listening to you and they start laughing. It's that kind of thing, or things are just, it's everyday humor, and it's something that's free. I mean, it's free. You don't have to get a prescription.
Oh, they say laughter is the death medicine.
Yeah, but you don't have to get a prescription for it, Sammy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's free. It's just available for the taking.
Love it. No, please keep going on.
Did you know I'm going to run for president?
What? Of what?
The United States of America.
You can't do that, Sammy.
Why not? I have orange hair.
But you're just a puppet.
I won't be the first and I won't be the last.
Oh,
Oh, that's
anyway,
great.
there's a lot going on that I know people who are incredibly worried or fearful in the United States or the election, no matter which party they're on. And there's things they don't like happening. And sometimes you just gotta just laugh about it.
Yeah, I think life's way too short to take it so seriously like we do, especially in American culture. We work, 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 and we don't set aside time for fun and play. So humor is an
That's right.
amazing thing to incorporate in.
Did he say I'm way too short?
He did not say you're short. He said life is way too short.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't a short comment. No, no, it's not. But yes, it's easy to focus on, oh, you've got to file bankruptcy, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And if you could reframe things, well, I think gratitude and humor are kissing cousins.
It's all relative.
Yeah, I do, because humor is something that helps you lighten up and not take things so seriously. And I don't know if anyone here listening, surely some of you have engaged in a gratitude practice.
That sounds serious.
Well, it's sometimes people write down 3 things every day that they're grateful for, or something to focus on what you appreciate. And when you're looking at what you appreciate, it's you're less likely to be afraid or fearful. And the same thing, if you're laughing, having a good time, you're less likely to be dwelling on whatever that ain't it awful kind of thing.
I gotta go write my 3 gratitudes.
That's okay. Or I'm in a group where we email each other 3 gratitudes every day. And then it's easy to forget when you're journaling and to slip off after a while. But if you get an email from somebody else, then that reminds you, if you have 4 or 5 people and then emails start coming, oh yeah, my gratitudes, and just sharing them. And what we do is we share things that happened in the last 24 hours. I say happen. I mean, it could be you're grateful for a blade of grass, you know. I planted some grass seed and I was really happy to see some blades of grass coming up. So, or it could be, anything. But if you we share it with each other within 24 hours and without repeats. And why not repeats? Because there's so many things that you don't need to repeat.
I love it. That the email thing is genius because for me, until I incorporate it into my own personal routine, where when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, that's part of it. I just speak it in my head because if I try to speak it out loud, I'd be spitting toothpaste everywhere. But it until I started doing that, I struggled to do it consistently. And the repeats is a great tip as well because I found that I was almost copy and pasting when I was writing down in the journal versus thinking of new things to keep that level of gratitude and appreciation for everything going on in my life. So I love those tips. Thank you so much for those.
Yeah, I actually got those from a friend of mine, MK Mueller, who's written some books about positivity and what, but it's worked for me. And then if you want to increase the humor in your life, you could do the same thing. You could find some humor buddies and share emails about what happened that's fun. Or if you're in the workplace, and you could have a forum or an email group where you share with each other funny things that happened, funny things that were said. And there's so many types of humor, there's irony, there's self-effacing. I mean, I could go on and on and on. There's exaggeration, and it could be people saying things that they don't intentionally mean it to be funny, but it is funny. For example, yeah, I know a speaker who was saying, I want to be funny when I speak, but I have no sense of humor. Everybody in my family has a sense of humor. My brother, my father, my mother, my sister, everybody in the world has a better sense of humor, including the postal carrier and the FedEx driver, and even my dog is funnier than I am. And so we're listening to her laughing because she was actually being funny without even realizing it. She was using a humor technique called exaggeration, and I find that a lot, that people who say they don't have a sense of humor actually do, and they just don't recognize it.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like for me, I've attempted stand-up comedy. I wasn't relatable at the moment.
Uh-huh.
On a tangent here, but so I tried stand-up comedy, wasn't making people laugh outside my friend group, which to me doesn't count because they're gonna laugh because they're supporting you and they understand your humor. So I joined the military to get more life experience. Then I realized, oh, my jokes are only now military related, so this didn't do me any good. But it's kind of a funny full circle thing for me there. Again, tangent, but I love using humor in life. I think life, again, as I said earlier, is just too short and too serious to not have fun. And if we can't laugh about things that go wrong in life and things that are stressful and hard, then what are we doing? Like, what are we here for? And that's why I was so excited to get you on this call, and you reached out and that you wanted to do this, because I just think that you being the humor strategist and even incorporating puppets in here is amazing. I think there's so many tools people can use in their life, and some of the things you went over already today to make their life so much more joyful. And I would just love to find out a little bit more about, maybe most people are so focused on work. How can they incorporate that humor, but not just the work emails, but some other ways maybe they can do that, and also, keep it professional, because I'm an HR guy, so obviously I can't have, there's certain jokes you can't be saying around the water cooler. So
Oh yeah, you're an HR guy. Well, it depends if if you're in the workplace. Like I said, you could have a forum and share it, or there's brick and mortar places. If you've been driving down the street and you see a sign with funny things on it, like we have an insurance company down the street, and they change every few days the letters on the sign, and they have a funny saying. And there's another company in town that they post some funny meme on their Facebook page every day. And there's ways to, well, I actually created a humor journal that has 10 humor prompts to help you notice what's going on around, because it could be something that your kid is saying or your grandkid is saying that's just funnier to all get out of it. Like Art Linkletter, that's a different generation than you. He used to say kids say the darndest things. TV person.
I know the name.
Oh, okay.
Before my time, but nonetheless, I've seen some episodes. I try to keep myself well versed.
I mean, one time I was going into the courthouse, and they have security, right? And they have 3 uniformed guard people. And I said, hey, do we taxpayers need to pay for 3 of you just to get inside the door? And this one guy, he turns to me and he says, Bonita, it takes 3 of us just to corral you. I started laughing, and I said, Randy, do they teach you to use humor in law enforcement training? And he said, no. Well, now keep in mind, that was a serious situation. Courthouse, security, uniformed officer with a gun, an attorney, right? Not a place you'd usually think of as humor. But anyway, he said they ought to teach humor in law enforcement, because when he uses humor, it breaks the ice. People open up and they tell you more, like when they're interrogating suspects. So the more, be careful if you get stopped by a police officer with a good sense of humor. I don't know why you
All
said,
right.
but I just thought that was so classy, because he said it establishes rapport and trust, and they just tell you more. And I think about it in different situations, whether you're an HR person at work with an employee, or if you're in a sales conversation with a prospect. And I was on a committee once where we were interviewing ministers for a church. And this person was asked, do you have a sense of humor? And she said, oh, I left it back in Iowa. That's just an example of using light humor that doesn't harm anyone. And it showed us, without telling us, that she had a sense of humor. And as far as the HR thing, sometimes self-effacing humor, that can be safe. You have to have good self-worth if you use self-effacing humor. But it's I don't remember Don Rickles. He had that kind of.
Oh, I know Don Rickles. Yeah. He had that the self-deprecation is what is self yeah. So I think they're the same terms, right?
They
I'm
are.
not an English professor, so I don't know. But
Well,
yeah, he was well known for that. He's just, Don Rickles is actually hilarious. So
he actually was a ventriloquist when he was younger.
I did
didn't
not know that. Huh.
Yeah. And Johnny Carson and Dick Cavett did magic. And
Wow.
when they started out,
Crazy how things changed. Oh,
Yeah,
This is Ruby.
I can speak for myself. Okay, I'm Rudy.
hi, Ruby.
Hi, it's Jason, all right?
How'd you know?
Because I can read.
I see. So yeah, it's just the ability to laugh, and especially serious times, it also can decrease your stress, your cortisol, and there's studies, your physiology.
You can't talk by yourself without me.
Your physiology, you change, and if you do something like laughter yoga, that can really have an impact, increase the oxygen in your lungs, and you feel better when you laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because when you mention in other careers like people using humor, for instance, the law enforcement officer using humor to diffuse situations. I do that when I do interviews because it's already stressful enough for the other person coming in there trying to get a job. I don't need to make it any harder on them. So I figure, hey, listen, I'm a human just like you. Let's have a conversation. We'll have a little fun with it. And hey, worst case scenario, you had a good time in the interview and you're not going to beat yourself up afterwards. Like, best case scenario, we had a good time and you get a job. So,
Hey, that's a good deal.
That's great that you use it. Now, I was in a Kansas City airport once about to go through security, and this guy's making an announcement. TSA, he says, if you have any electronics, iPads, laptops, microwaves, put them in this bin. And I'm like, did he just say microwaves? He did. And so, of course, then I listen to see if there's anything else funny. It's like those jokes and silly songs that they did, not as much anymore, but pre-COVID at Southwest Airlines. And studies showed that the passengers listen more when they think there might be something funny. And so it's a really good tool for engagement.
yeah, it catches you off guard and you're just like, wait, what just happened? Hold on.
Right.
It's super
Right.
smart. No, I love it. So
And
I
it's
think
the
we
TSA thing, it's a situation where people are stressful, trying to catch their plane. And I looked around and there were smiles. I mean, it interrupts. What humor does is it's an interruption. It could shift the energy in a moment, just like that. Like I could see it. It went from stress to just smiles. And it's free, right? It's a simple thing. A lot of people that I talk to,
It never occurs to them.
that's right, never occurs to them. And so my invitation is to your listeners to make an intentional choice to bring more humor into your life or your business, your work, your speeches, whatever.
oh,
And
I love
relationships, by the way, that's one of the very attractive traits is people want somebody who has a good sense of humor.
yeah, I'm sure that's why my fiance chose me because it's not for this look. So uh, Don Rickles is the only one who can do it here.
Hey,
What do you think of his beard?
I hear he didn't like it at first, but after a while it kind of grew on him.
Love it. Well, I think we're getting kind of close to that wrap up time here.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I forgot
um,
to say where people could pick up that humor journal.
yep, that's what I was going to lead to. I said, hey, go ahead, wherever people can contact you, please go ahead and list that off.
Great minds think alike.
Well, the humor journal with the 10 humor tips is at joy.funandfunnier.com. That's joy.funandfunnier.com. And you can find me on a lot of social media.
Like what?
Like,
YouTube?
yeah, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. And sometimes on like Instagram, I'm under I am Bonita Joy. And I'm usually, depending on who's taken Bonita, if you put in Bonita Joy or Bonita Joy Yoder in the social platform, you should find me. And I do frequent short videos, like 5 seconds to a minute with different puppets. I have a whole cast of characters, and we'll come on and have a little funny for the day.
Nice, amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on here. Really enjoyed this. I definitely want to get a more in-depth episode here in the future, so I'll be reaching out to you. With that, I just want to thank the audience when they do eventually tune into this for taking the time to watch this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave a detailed review. Let us know what you enjoyed about the episode. And then also, don't forget to sign up for the Wellness Diaries, which you can find at the everydayelevationspodcast.com. And thanks again so much for listening in.
See you later.
All right.